Number one rule of gun safety, the biggest one I want to cover first out of the four, is keep your finger off the trigger until you are ready to fire. When you are ready to fire and you're ready to shoot, then put your finger on the trigger. Until then, keep it off of the trigger. I see a lot of people who are new, who are amateurs, getting to know guns for the first time, who don't really know how to shoot, who also don't know a lot about guns. Again, finger off the trigger. Whether you're new or experienced, everyone who's experienced knows this, but 80 to 90% of the people who are new to gun owning or just firearms in general keep their finger on the trigger when they grab it. You always see this. When someone's new to the gun, they're like, oh, wow, this is so nice. Do you see what I'm doing right now? This is the thing. When you have your finger on the trigger like this, pulling it easily. You can easily shoot someone on accident, especially if you're new and you don't think like, okay, there's a muzzle, it's facing towards somebody. Now let me go ahead. Oh, look, oh, this is so cool. Wow, this is, you just shot somebody. Now the thing is, with guns like this, with a Glock, there's no safety on it. The safety is the trigger mechanism. This little thing right here, as long as you don't pull this back, the bullet will not shoot. And so this is the only gun that I know of currently that has a safety on the trigger. And the trigger is where everyone always puts their fingers on. So Glocks are definitely something for amateurs or new beginners to be aware of when they purchase them. You do not want to keep that finger on the trigger. And another thing is, in stressful situations, for example, gamers, people who play a lot of games, they can understand what I'm going to say, is when you're in a stressful situation while playing a game, your hands get sweaty and you clench the controller really tight because it's crazy. It's going on. You're like, whoa, like, so that's the same thing. That's a natural human reaction, is to clench when we're in stressful situations. And so if you have a gun and you keep that finger on the trigger and something's crazy, your finger is locked on that trigger and you will fire it on accident, whether it's on yourself, whether it's on somebody else, or even if you miss everybody and you shoot the wall, your finger is still on the trigger, and you do not want the clenching to happen when you're in a stressful situation. And so always keep that finger. You have to have a mentality thing with this, is keep that finger off the trigger until you are ready to fire, especially when drawing. That's how a lot of people shoot themselves as well, when they're new to gun owning, is when they have it on them and they grab it like this and they pull the trigger as they're coming up. Some people have shot their foot, some people have shot their side. If you appendix carry, some people have shot their, it came off because they had the trigger on their finger on the trigger. And so you have to always acknowledge keeping that finger off the trigger when drawing like this, and then going in and pulling your finger on the trigger once you're ready to fire. Or if you're just at the range, finger off the trigger. Once you get your sight aligned up, then put the finger and then shoot. Once you're done shooting, magazine out. I don't have my magazine. I have my magazine right here next to me. It's out of the gun for safety reasons of this video, educational purposes. And so you cock it back, make sure it's locked, slides locked, magazine out. Well, magazine out first and then slide it back. In visual inspection, make sure everything's not in there. There's no bullet, as you can see, no magazine. It's safe, you're good to go. Now, that's why you keep your finger off the triggers, just in case you do that. In the case you don't take the mag out first and you accidentally, cock it back first and then take the mag out. Because if you cock it back and then you do this, there's a bullet in the chamber right now. And so you don't want that to happen. You see? I just had a bullet in the chamber, but the magazine was out. And that just hit my wood floor. Oh my gosh. But magazine was out and I had a bullet in the chamber. A lot of people don't know that, especially if you're new. You just see the gun, you're like, oh, wow, wow, wow. The bullet is in the chamber, the magazine's out. They go, oh, okay, there's no mag in. Boom. Finger off the trigger, finger on the trigger, and they just shot somebody on accident. They didn't know because they didn't inspect it. And again, finger off. This is the reason why I keep saying finger off the trigger. It's the biggest thing, because if you don't pull the trigger, the gun's not going to fire. Some guns that are dirty or older or they malfunction, sometimes when you cock it back, sometimes there's a misfire, and you don't want that misfire. And so if you treat your gun correctly and you don't pull the trigger and you take it nice and slow, take everything accounting for, things like that, you're good. But if you're in a stressful situation, of course, if you're in self-defense and something happens in real life, you're going to take it quicker. But that's why you train yourself. train yourself to make sure you keep that finger off the trigger. Make sure you know when there's a round in the chamber, when there's not, when you have to rack the slide back to make sure everything is good to go. This is how you train yourself. Again, the biggest thing is keeping that finger off of the trigger. So that's rule number 1 that I want to cover with you. Just a little bit of examples I want to also give to you, and to also get my hollow point that dropped off from my magazine. And so, again, I hope you guys enjoy this video and also learned something about gun safety of rule number 1. I'll cover the other 3 rules as well later on. So thank you guys for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Like always, stay healthy, stay sexy, and I'll see you guys in the next video or live stream. And again, keep that finger off the trigger.